Good evening. This is On the Case with Kamau Kujichagulia, and I am Kamau Kujichagulia. And every week we come on Thursdays at 8 o'clock, and we interview a very important person from either Trenton or Mercer County or New Jersey or the States or from around the world, so that you, our listeners, can get to know people that maybe you should know or maybe you don't know, but whatever. That's what we're here for. Joining me tonight is my son, Michael Harmon, who will help me this evening. Hello, Michael.
How you doing, Dad? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Everything all
I'm
right?
well. I'm
Okay.
well. Well,
Okay. Tonight we have with us, we have two people. We have Jasi Edwards, who will be joining us. And we also have, let me tell you, she's running for council at large. And also we will have Damian Malave, who's running for South Ward Council. So without any further ado, I think maybe we should go on right on. You ready? Hi, Jazzy. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm
hi,
marvelous.
hi,
Marvelous.
Jasi. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Well, also.
Okay. Um, you're running for city council
Yes, I am.
at large.
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we find out why you're running for city council, tell us a little bit more about you. You just told me some interesting things. I like sharing with people.
Okay. Well, first, thank you both for having me. I'm always, open and available to getting out there and getting to know the people and letting them get to know me as well. You should know who you're voting for. So this is very important. So thank you for providing this platform to Trettonians and all of Mercer County who may be watching this because this is an important election coming up. Um, my name is Jasi Edwards. I'm born and raised in the city of Trent. I'm 34 years old. I have two daughters. One, Michaela, she's in high school, ninth grade, 14-year-old, and I have another daughter, Jai, who's in third grade at Rivera. So, um, like I said, I was born and raised here. I have been through a lot in this city. I have a lot of family in this city who has also been through a lot. Um, uh, it was times where I was homeless and lived at a shelter, lived in my car, for a couple of nights here and there, just trying to get by with these low income jobs. So while also paying my way through college, and I had a daughter at 19. So I was homeless with her actually when she was 3 months old. So that was an experience that opened my eyes to what's going on right here in Trenton because there was a lot of teenage mothers in that homeless shelter that needed help, and they couldn't get the resources. People that were there for a long time that couldn't get the help that they needed, with housing, with getting a better job, livable wage jobs. Like it was eye opening. I voted for the first time in that shelter for President Obama. A lot of us did. And it was just, he was hope to us. He was hope. And, I got out of there and got on my own 2 feet and got a job. I stayed in college. Back and forth in college, paying your own way through. I finally got my degree about 3 years ago now. So I went back almost full time back in 2017 and finished 2019.
What's your
So
degree in?
yeah. So I
What's your,
mean, I know what people deal with and struggle with. So when I started, as I've grown, and gun violence hit my home with my friends and my god brother, I started getting into activism. It did a march and rally against gun violence.
Mm.
That was 10 years ago. Actually, 10 years ago tomorrow that we did that, and it was like our turning point in the city for my generation to say, okay, this is what's going on. This isn't right what we're doing to each other, and we need to put these guns down and live right. So hundreds of people came out, and we done event after event, voter registration drives, cleanups, financial literacy programs, all type of things to bring the resources to the community in these forgotten areas, of the city that people dared not go into because they were scared. So I go into those hard to reach areas. That's my work. Reaching the unreachable, reaching the youth, returning citizens, the people that have been marginalized and disenfranchised. Um, that led me into get into politics and volunteering on campaigns. So I caught the eye of Assemblywoman Bonnie Watson Coleman at that march 10 years ago, and she watched me since. So a couple years go by, and she hired me on as a constituent services representative in the assembly, and she brought me over to Congress. So fast forward, and here we are 8 years later. I have a nonprofit, Operation Rebuild Trenton. We do bi-weekly cleanups and things, voter registration drives, and the most important part is we go into those marginalized areas, and we partner with local nonprofits, churches, organizations, just regular people who also care about our city. And we go walk right up to the people out in the streets and give out information, hygiene products, job information, clothes, food, all kinds of things. Whatever the organization has that comes out, whatever day we have it on, that whoever's available. So I decided to run for council because, or no, I'm not going to answer that. You didn't ask that yet, but
go ahead. Tell us why you decided. I'm going to ask you anyway.
I was getting ahead of it. Wow. But that's just me. I've always been involved with the Board of Education. I've learned civics. I didn't know anything about city council and things when I did that march. And I just knew that we needed the elected officials to be there to hear us. And so I Googled elected officials in Trenton, New Jersey, and all of these city council, assembly, freeholders. I didn't even know about Congress until the Congresswoman ran a couple of years down the line. So we ain't gonna talk about that part. But everything else I found out about while we were organizing that march, and it opened my eyes up. I'm like, we have to start lobbying these people. Why don't we know who they are? They're our representatives, and they don't come out in the hood where we are. So we came to them from 4 sides of the city in one day into City Hall steps, and we invited them there to hear us. And so I decided to stay close by to them and see how things work. And that's how I got into politics. So.
Okay. So why council at large instead of I don't know what ward you live in?
I live in the North Ward right now, South Trenton, down bottom. I was born in West Trenton, and I lived on Bellevue, Lee Avenue, Rosemont. I lived there, but I grew up on Rosemont and Stuyvesant. That's where I hung out with my family and my friends. And so we moved to Villa Park in East Ward when I was 15. So I grew up in Wilbur section on Walnut and, Locust and Chestnut, hanging out with my family out there. And I did when I lived out west anyway. So I was already familiar with the neighborhood. And now I own property in the North Ward, which is South Trenton. So I get to know people out here. So I'm like, and then I just don't believe in all of the segregation we had. We had too much segregation in Trenton. So I didn't want to limit myself to just one area. I want to help the whole city because my work is in the whole city. Like we do bi-weekly cleanups, north, south, east, west, north, south, east, west. We alternate like that. So I didn't want to limit myself. And I don't exactly identify with one particular area of the city. I felt like I need to be everywhere,
Okay. Now you said this is going to be a very important election. Why do you say that?
Because not to state the obvious, because I don't want to bring the negative vibes in the room, but our leadership has not been up to par. Throughout my tenure as a community activist and organizer, I've brought things to the attention of our leaders, and a lot of the times it fell on deaf ears. I see that even the things that a lot of people are bringing, the collective, the masses in Trenton are advocating and asking and demanding and practically begging for these things to happen in our city to bring for a change. And our current city council members, the majority, are saying no. Why are you not properly representing your constituents? So I decided to run and be the change that I want to see. So the things that they're voting down affects us every day. Trenton Waterworks, they're the board of Trenton Waterworks. So we have pipes that burst that were supposed to be replaced that were on the docket that we're voting on. There's filters that were supposed to be replaced, and some of the machinery in there that wasn't. These things affect our health. We're consuming this water, we're bathing in it. We need to make sure that is clean, that is healthy, and safe. We have some of the best water in the country. I believe Trenton is like top 5 in the quality of water. But the issue is our lead pipes. So if we have all of this money, $5.5 million from the federal government, we had even more money from the state to replace these pipes, and they keep voting no. So now people are sick. People are probably even dying from consuming lead throughout the years. Little did we know. So once it's brought to our attention, we are obligated to make the right decisions to get rid of these lead pipes, and we haven't been. And amongst other things, like spending the ARP money in the right places that's supposed to go to, like apprenticeships for young adults and high school students, they voted no. So our infrastructure, we have over $700 million for our infrastructure, our roads, our streets, our sidewalks, lights and speed bumps, all kinds of different things that we need. We have not been able to spend this money allocated towards the things that we need because we have a bunch of naysayers on city council. So this election is important because this is life or death for us. We have to get the right people in office. We can't continue to allow people to hinder our success, hinder our growth. We have not had any economic growth in the capital city of New Jersey in 10 years. And that's saying something.
We haven't had any economic growth in the city of Trenton in 50 years.
Yeah, you're probably right. I haven't been around that long. I just know in the last 10 years, statistically, we haven't, so we need to change that. And it begins with our vote. We have to understand the power that we have in the collective, coming together and voting the right people in office that's going to properly represent us and vote on the right things to move our city forward.
Okay. Now, you have 2 daughters, right?
Yes, I do.
And they're in Trenton schools.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Trenton schools are notorious for being at the bottom of the heap when in New Jersey public education.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you would do to address that?
I think that,
especially for your girls.
Right. So let me just, how much time do I have to answer this? Because education is like one of my passions, right? All right. So let me break it down. So it's there's a common misconception that Trenton does not offer the right education, and in a lot of ways we don't, but in a lot of ways we do. Right. Since 2012, we have had financial literacy in Trenton High and high school. And we have had mental health services. I'm not sure when that was implemented, but we have both of those in high school. And for the past few terms and superintendents, they have not been successful with expanding those into the lower grades. Now with this board and this super, they or advocated for financial literacy and mental health services to be added to middle school. Now, hopefully, eventually, we'll start to get it in the elementary and start at 4th grade, because that would be the appropriate age to start financial literacy from. So, advocated for things like that. What the Board of Education, we have a budget, that we have to pay that's mandatory for the city. So the expansion of those services and the adult services and things like that are included. It's a $400,000 increase. I forget what the percentage is, but it's a really low percentage and an increase in taxes for that increase of the budget for 400,000. So I'm advocating for civics to be added, and I'm also advocating for field trips to be added back into the schools so these kids can be exposed to different cultures, to different histories, visiting museums and, college campuses and things like that, and learning things firsthand, seeing other communities, most importantly, just getting outside of Trenton and seeing the possibilities that Trenton has just by simply seeing examples of maybe even, a better economy somewhere else, and then start to piece that together and bring it back like, hey, we can have that here. Why don't we have that here?
So why don't we have it here? I mean,
we're not making the right decisions. We're not making the right decisions.
Okay, but I mean, well, we haven't had it here in, well, that's not really not true.
For
we haven't had it here in 30 years.
A long time. I don't
remember. A long time. I mean, this isn't a new process. Are you not in favor of an elected school board?
I right now am not in favor of it, and I'll tell you why. We have to get our stuff together with city council first. Like, we have to elect the right people. Our voter turnout is extremely low for the amount of eligible voters in the city in that 18 and older demographic. And then we only have about 40,000 registered voters, and on average about maybe 7,000 people show up. So that was the whole purpose of Robin Vaughn introducing the idea to move us from the primary to the general in hopes to increase the voter turnout. So we have to see how this goes, because we've never voted in the general for a city council before. This is a new thing for us. So let's figure this out. Another thing I don't agree with is because in that ordinance to change it to elected would put that election in April. And we already struggle with the, municipal government every 4 years with getting people to come out. So now you're creating more elections for the resident. So I'm not in favor of that, of having the Board of Education in April separate from the mayor and council and thing. I think it should be on the same election if we're going to go that route. But I just think that we need to get ourselves together. We need to increase voter turnout. But also, besides the voter turnout issue, I just really think that this superintendent is doing a great job. I think that this board is doing a great job. There are one or two.
You say great? Come on.
I would say, all right, I'll say good. I'll be okay. They could be doing better. They could be doing better. And I'll say that because we have a big public safety issue at all of these schools, and these kids are off the hook. And I know people have been advocating to the Board of Education about it to try to get more security, to try to get the security trained, and rightfully so, because when I was in Trenton High, we didn't have all of that going on, riots every day, kids doing all of this stuff, because we had trained security officers. These officers are very young, inexperienced, and untrained. So that needs to change. So there's still a lot of room for improvement with the Board of Education, but they're on the right track. Let
me ask you something else. Let me go somewhere else. Now, somebody came out with the Trenton Forward, came out with a flyer for the election that has the mayor and a slate of people that they want to vote with him. Now it says that there wasn't authorized by any candidate, but you're one of the people that's on here.
Yeah.
What happened here?
I mean, I'm flattered, but I don't even know who they are. I saw the first mailer that was sent out, and then I just got this one actually in the mail yesterday. So I'm just seeing it. And, as far as I know, like, no one authorized this. We were calling around to other candidates, like, what's going on? Because on the first one, a few of the candidates had the same background, and it looked like this was like an organized thing. But then when you look at it, those was old pictures that they put, different background on and stuff like that. But like, we never met with a PAC. I know there's rumors out there about a secret meeting and all this stuff. Honest to God, it never happened. So but I am flattered that this PAC, whoever they are, would pick me as one of their candidates of choice. I do the work. I've been on this ground for 10 years in this community. So, I mean, I didn't do anything to scheme and scam to get it, but I definitely feel like I've earned the recognition and I appreciate it. But I hope no one takes it out of context.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will.
A lot of people have. A lot of people have. And like, look, I'm a straightforward. I'm an honest person. Ask me anything and I'll tell you the truth.
Okay, well that's good. Now you say you have a nonprofit, Rebuild Trenton.
Operation Rebuild Trenton.
And you created this?
Yes, with my friends, Darnell Washington, Tracy Jackson, and my sister, Andre McNair. You guys probably heard of him. He does the face masks and stuff. We started Operation Rebuild Trenton back in the height of the pandemic, actually, because we needed to get out there. Our city is just filthy. The gun violence was running rampant, and we needed to set the example, and we needed like a soft opening to get into, these places where gun violence is pretty high. So, yeah.
That's great. Michael?
Jasi, good fortune in the elections next week. I wish you well. But what are your views on these 4 issues that you listed on your website? Community engagement, government accountability, economic revitalization, and housing and public safety.
All right, I'll start from the top. Community engagement, that's what I do. Grassroots, get out there, get in the community, talk to the people, see what's wrong, see what's going on. They're your eyes and ears, they know what's going on in their neighborhoods. Just be encouraging, being resourceful, being informative, and really, truly, genuinely connecting with the people. This is what I do. And I've been doing for years. I never had any political aspirations. I didn't know what city council was, but I've educated myself. And if I, coming from where I come from and the things that I've gone through, if I can educate myself and get involved, I know a lot of people can too. We got some intelligent people in the city, and they just need to feel comfortable enough to come forward, but sometimes you got to go to them. So that's what I mean by community engagement. Government accountability. Simply put, our leadership just has not been making the right decisions. They have not been making decisions that benefit our city. It has been to our detriment. We have lost millions of dollars. We left a lot of money on the table. We lost industries coming in that could have offered hundreds of jobs to residents. And then also the lack of respect, toward with each other, the lack of collaboration. Like, we really need to put our personal biases to the side and our personal feelings to the side and work together, because it's not about us. It's about the city. It's about the residents, the people, no matter what they look like, their sexuality or anything, no matter what they said on the campaign trail. Once you cross that city council, that door, you're a city council member. You're no longer a candidate. So it doesn't matter what happened on the campaign trail. Put that to the side, because it's illegal anyway. You got to separate government and campaign. So we need people that are able to do that and work with the administration to serve in the purpose that they're supposed to be. Checks and balances, making sure that the money's being allocated properly into the right places, making sure Trentonians are included and things like that, not struggling for power. The mayor is the mayor. City council is city council. No one on city council should be trying to be the mayor, while you're in that 4 years of your tenure, of your term. Now, what you want to do on a campaign trail next election, by all means. But in between it, it's about the work getting done. So that's what I mean by government accountability. Economic revitalization. Like I said, we have no economic growth in 10 years. I would love to see our city open after 5, open after 3. I went downtown today. I went downtown today at 11:55 a.m. I'm driving through downtown, and on the block between Dunkin' Donuts and TD Bank, I counted 11 businesses closed at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Why? Where are our businesses? And if they have no intentions on being open at the times where you would expect the downtown store to be open, then downtown is not for you. I'm sorry to sound so harsh, but we need an economy that is diverse, that is open and ready for business so that we can grow our city. We need those tax dollars, that revenue, to be able to do things, be able to provide these recreational activities to keep our kids out of trouble, provide apprenticeships for young adults and high school students. We could do a lot if we have more revenue. So, but the biggest thing I want to point out about downtown that I feel like hinders the success of businesses, particularly restaurants and things like that, where that's attracting big commercial businesses like TGI Fridays, those restaurants come with bars or they serve alcohol. And so with the 200-foot distance ordinance with the Alcohol Beverage Commission for liquor licenses between businesses, it doesn't need much real estate left in between another business that has a liquor license, especially Maxine's. They've been dormant and closed for years now, and no one within 200 feet can get a liquor license and move their business into the city. So I think we have to look at the zoning for downtown and change that. And there's a cap on how many liquor licenses the city can have. So I think, again, that zoning, that ordinance for just the downtown district being our entertainment, restaurant, and tourism district, the rules should be different. I don't think there should be a distance between liquor licenses so that we can attract more businesses. I think we should be, they want to be side by side by all means, as long as there are different types of variety of businesses. That's how you see other downtowns functioning. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. So the business that is Maxine's now is holding up other businesses from getting a liquor license?
I wouldn't even blame it on Maxine's. It's our ordinance. It's our ordinance. But yes, because when a business moves, they can't take the license with them. The license is attached to the building and the building alone. It doesn't come off unless you're in violation and the Alcohol Beverage Commission shuts you down. The state shuts you down and takes your liquor license. But if you move and go to a different city, even if you go next door, you have to reapply for a brand new liquor license. And that license stays on that building because it's retrofitted to that building. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So even though the business is closed.
I'm sorry?
Even though the business is closed.
Even though the business is closed. The businesses across the street, Big Easy, the Skillet, they can't serve wine if they want to, champagne or whatever with their breakfast or dinner menus. They can't because Maxine's liquor has a liquor license and they can't apply for one. So City Council serves as the Alcohol Beverage Commission, the board of the Alcohol Beverage Commission. So the City Council could work with the state, to advocate for more liquor licenses for the municipality. And they have the power to change that ordinance.
So you would do that?
I am in favor of doing that. And I have been talking to the other candidates as well. And a couple of other ones are in favor as well. So that type of things, that's the type of work city council members should be doing, is looking at what is hindering the success of our economy. 29, we can't access our waterfront that well because 29 is cutting off our access. So Biden administration is making $1 billion available to infrastructure, things like that cuts off access to our prime real estate. So we can get money from the Biden administration and redirect 29 as I believe is in the Trenton 250 master plan, or is this current mayor's plan. And I had asked him maybe 2 weeks ago, like, where would 29 go? Would you have to knock the houses down that's over there? Because I'm on Ferry. I'm right there on 29. And then you got the new townhouses and things like that. So I said, what would that look like? He said, no, you won't have to do any of that. It would turn into a boulevard. It could go right around the Justice Complex and come back on the other side by Cooper's, the old Camp Bandu, come right back on 29. So he wants to open up 29 between the Trent Mix Bridge and the Calhoun Street Bridge and all of that going down and putting in free, opening up that space to put businesses on it. Like we would love it to look like kind of how like Penn's Landing has theirs, with restaurants and a hotel on the water with some retail spots, some entertainment spots, outside dining, things like that. Like think innovatively. Our city can have these things. It's not far fetched.
It looks like, or that you have a vision
I
for
do.
Trenton, other than, what we've been going through for the past 50, 60 years, really. You also going to have to deal with the state
Yes.
and with them. But, we don't have any more time.
Okay, I'm sorry I talked too much about stuff. You had some good questions.
It's been a joy having you on here, and we wish you very much success next week. Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, good luck and thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
All
Have
right.
a good night.
Okay, that was great, Michael.
Yeah, what? Best of luck to Jasi.
Yeah. Now we have coming up, we have Damian Malave, but we'll get the name straight. Don't worry about that, because he'll be on next and he'll set us straight, I'm sure. But he's running for South Ward council person. So I guess without any further ado, right?
Mr. Damian Malave.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Damian Gonzalez Malave, born and raised in Trenton, New Jersey.
There it is, city of the Big T.
Cathedral Junior 5, Trenton High.
Cathedral?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Went to Cathedral Grammar School.
Oh, grammar. I thought you were talking about the high school. I said, you don't look that old.
Cathedral Grammar, Junior 5, and Trenton High.
Okay.
Junior 5, huh?
Okay. The high. What year did you graduate from high school?
1987. I was a part of the first football team that was qualified for the state playoffs. I played with two professional football players, well-known, Melvin Evans, he has 2 Super Bowl rings for the Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
And Alfonso Taylor, that played for the Cardinals, the Denver, and ended his career at the Canadian League.
Okay, very great, very great. Now, did you turn pro too?
No. I did have some scholarships from West Virginia, Rutgers, and I picked Kane University, which unfortunately I did not attend because I was a young father, and I joined the blue collar. I became a blue collar worker, where I took that and made sure my family got educated. I got 2 graduates, son and daughter, that are graduates. I have a son right now. He's in Hilbert College in Hamburg, upstate New York, where he is studying forensic science. So I work hard for these kids, and I want to make sure they get the quality education.
I hear that. Well, tell us a little bit more about yourself. You say you went to Trenton High. You say you're a Trentonian. Tell us a little bit more.
Well, I born and raised in Trenton, and right there on Warren Street. I come from a great community, El Barrio, which is the Puerto Rican section where we our community gathered, which was on Stockton and Academy Street. So okay. I grew up in an urban setting. I grew up assimilated to the Trentonian way, which I grew up with the African Americans, which are one of my best friends, where I learned how to play and excelled on football. I also played basketball, baseball. I played sports. I was an active member of the PAL League, and we have to bring that back in Trenton. Those things, that's reduced crime. That reduces crime. Crime reduction, we need that for our kids. We need our kids to get out of the rooms and be active. So my administration, I'm administration, but I'm working with the administration. I'll be active in promoting those issues.
Okay, so now you're down in the South Ward. What street do you live on?
I live on Lamberton Street, where I met my lovely wife 36 years ago, and I've been a resident of the South Ward for 32 years, where I raised my kids. I am a homeowner. I pay my taxes. I'm a homeowner. I love the South. There's a lot of potential in the South. We have right now the South is the economic engine for Trenton, but however, it looks filthy. We need to clean up South Ward. You know, we had an absentee councilman for 12 years. Listen, we don't need nobody to plow you out of the snow. We need service. You know, we need tax paying services that when you listen. I've seen the bad and the worst of South Trenton, and I raised my hand to be a representative, and hopefully I can get that support for the people.
Okay, well, that sounds good, Mike.
How you doing, Mr. Malave? I like your energy.
Thank you. I'm very passionate. I forgot to say this. Growing up as a kid in Trenton, that got me involved in politics was my uncle Juan Rivera. I don't know if anybody remember Juan Rivera. He was Bo Robinson's right-hand man in the North. And let me tell you something. I used to work those elections, and I would look forward to get a nice crisp $50 bill in my hand because I worked hard, knocked on doors.
All right, I'm gonna keep an eye on you, man. But my question for you is, why should voters in the South Ward select you over the two other voters, Ms. Kittenberg and Ms. Uyorzi, the two other candidates in the South Ward Council?
Okay, first of all, I've been doing the work as a committee man for District 6. Me and my wife have been Democratic committee people for the last 10 years. I'm also the vice president of the Rodriguez Family Foundation. I'm also a member of the only member of Mercer County of Trenton, of the board sit on the board of directors of the Boys Club of Mercer County. Me. I also am a trustee of the board of the historic Trent House. I also, like I said, I was a committee man as well. I'm also a founder of the South Ward Neighborhood Association, a co-founder. Where right there on Lamberton Street, where Lamberton meets, where District 2 meets North 9, which is has a lot of negativity. We build a garden there to get some positive flow around there, but there's still work to be done there.
Okay. So, you know, I can see where all this economic activity is going on down there in South Trenton. You know, and
Yeah.
you know, it needs to continue and to expand. And like you say, one of the ways to do that is to fix it up. You know, to make it look even better than what it looks right now. Is that right?
There is a motivating factor there, sir, and that is the $70 million+ that the city has right now for the American Rescue Act. That's going to put people to work and beautify our city through having new roads, new curbing, new trees, new lighting. There's going to be putting people to work. Trenton is going to come back, and I'm going to be part of that.
Okay. So now you ran what in 2018, right?
2018, I ran and lost by 240 votes. And I surprised a lot of people, but I'm from the community. People know me. You know, I serve everyone and every culture, and I've been doing the work, you know, through the Rodriguez Family Foundation. I've been, you know, feeding the hungry, clothing the naked. I've been doing the work, and one of my platform is to collaborate with faith-based organizations, the heart and soul of the city. And I also defeated Mrs. Kurtenberg in 2018, and I could do it again.
So you will do it again, huh?
I'm working hard. I'm knocking on doors. People know me.
I hear you. Now, we Michael?
Mr. Malave.
Yes, sir.
The violence in Trenton has escalated somewhat. It's actually cooled down a little bit. What would you do to help to sway the violence in the city?
First of all, we have to have a mutual respect between law enforcement and the community, right? We should respect the law enforcement, and law enforcement needs to respect us through procedural justice. Procedural justice. We need professionals to come to our schools, right? To educate our Black and brown students what to do or not to do when being confronted by a police officer. Mostly in traffic stops. We know what leads to that, right? So we need to educate our children, right? To get professionals, and it should be just like fire alarms. That we have fire alarms growing up. We should have procedural justice drills all through our school system. Not only that, we need to fix our roads and have speed bumps. The police director should be approving those speed bumps instead of the resident getting petitions, because that's a safety issue. That is a safety issue throughout the whole city. Nobody obeys the speed limits. Our roads are depleted.
The roads are horrible in the city. The roads are definitely horrible in the city.
And we
Definitely
have to have advanced technology. Bring it up to the 21st century. We need advanced technology. We also need help from the state troopers. Don't listen. We want to look. We've been 20 years with the same response, right? What's that response? We're understaffed for 20 years. We pay taxes. Let's hire more police officers. And if the police officer doesn't live in Trenton, make sure they do community service to our community through PAL League.
And you're going to use your energy to get it done, huh? We seem to have lost.
There he is.
There you go. Okay. I was saying you're going to use your energy to get a lot of that done, huh?
Listen, I'm going to roll up my sleeve and use my ability that God has given me, and do the right thing for the citizens. We listen. This is facts. In 100 years, in 100 years, there's only been 2 Hispanic councilmen. 2 in 100 years.
Okay.
The demographics have changed, and we need a seat at the table. Not saying that I'm going to be biased. I'm for everyone. I'm a Trentonian, born and raised here. I'm simulated to the culture here. I'm urban setting. I'm a hybrid.
Well, you're speaking to the choir when you talk like that, because we've been having to explain ourselves like that for years. Hey, we're for Black people, but we're for all people.
Exactly, my brother. Exactly. And take, for example, let's take an example from history. We got to take a part of history. You know what happened in 1969 in Newark when the Black Panthers and the Young Lords got together? You know what happened? They elected the first Black mayor, which is Gibson, in 1970. The Black and brown always been in urban areas. They put us together for a reason. We fought the same issues. The same issue. Equality. We need equality, justice for all.
That's right. Justice for all. That's a powerful statement, which basically in many instances has just been a bunch of not words.
Listen, I can
that's
tell
what
you,
we need.
I tell you from experience. I have seen when I played football and we used to go to those suburban schools, they didn't call my teams the N-word. They called us all the N-word. You know what I mean? I was there. I seen it. I played. And I stand with my brothers then, and I will stand with my brothers today.
Okay, now let's stay on these schools for a little bit. Do you have a plan to help the school district do better, especially now that the demographics, like you say, are the Hispanics are over 50% of the students in our schools now, and they're still acting like they have to do something special instead of making it fundamental in the schools that we're able to educate our Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters. Do you have a plan for that?
Number one, my plan would be as a team player, right? I have to convince or talk to council as one unit to talk about what are the needs for our children and for our culture, or for everyone, like we said. Yes, it's 52% in Trenton High. The school system has changed. We have to think about how we're going to service that certain group of people. I think that we should expand our after school programs, right? We need more activities. When growing up in Trenton, I remember junior 5 played junior 1, junior 1 played junior 3. Those were great days, because by the time we got to Trenton High, we were the best in the whole Merced County. We need to bring those things back. We can't reinvent the wheel. They've done it. We have done it already. What happened is when you start changing things, that's when it broke down.
Okay. Down on by Trenton High School, they're talking about closing St. Francis Hospital.
Yes.
What is your feeling on that?
I was born there in 1968. I think that it is a shame. It serviced a lot of Latino and Black and Brown community. It did. It serviced, and it was they did it as it wasn't an issue that it popped up. Council knew about it 8 years ago. It's something that somebody should fought for. If somebody was in there, they should have gotten to get somebody to redevelop that area. Yes, it's depleted and old, but we just can't knock it down and wish for a dream. We need a plan. We got a plan. And I think that with the new council, we have to put that in plan. We have to pick up the phone, call the governor. We got to call the governor.
Okay, now, are you willing to go down and bang on the State House desks, people at State House on their desks, to get them to be more responsive to the capital city?
Of course. What they used to call it, they used to give us 32 million, I think it was. They used to give us a capital aid. Those days are gone, and we're the capital city of the state, this capital city, Trenton, New Jersey. I fought for the driver's license. I mean, I was a part of that group, but I did go down there and I advocated for them, because I knew that immigration reform is coming. The last president that did it was 1982, was Reagan. So we want to be ahead of the curve there. And I can get to that, but I want to answer your question first. Yes, I'm willing to knock on the door and make sure that the governor knows that we are here in Trenton, and come see our cities. Look what we need. All you got to do is take a long lunch and drive through Trenton.
That's all you have to do. It's not hard. So. Okay, now are you there are Trenton Board of Ed recently changed names of 2 of the schools here in Trenton, but there are others that definitely need to be changed, because we still have we're still looking up to slaveholders, and other things. Are you in favor of changing these names also?
Of course, my hero is Pedro Albizu Campos. Pedro Albizu Campos, Harvard graduate, was not allowed to speak in his graduation. Valedictorian. Great man, and history. We need to teach that in our schools. We have to. There has been a lot of things that we have to teach our kids that have been misled, right? We need to change schools of even leaders of now. Today, there was a school teacher that just passed away. She did a Ramos. Her name was Miss Ramos. School should be under her name. Also, there was a Boricanier, Mr. Rodriguez, I think was his last name. He was a Boricanier. You know what Boricanier was? They were an infantry that fought in the Korean War. Was it World War II? I think World War I or War II. But it's a history of that. If you look it up and Google it, the Boricaniers was a group from Puerto Rico. They put them in the front of they put them in the front line, and they were very successful. They defeated a lot of fights, and it's another part of history that needs to be told.
Okay. Now right now mental health is a big problem throughout the city. Not only are we losing hospitals, but we don't have the mental health facilities that we need for our, our kids are affected in so many different ways, and no one even mentions it. What are you thinking about doing something about helping the mental health of our kids and us?
I have a personal experience with that. My brother is schizophrenia, and I see that how they treat them is, if you don't have a doctor, you go to these organizations that help you. Don't get me wrong, that's the hardest work, and I applaud every worker that works for mental health. You give them their drugs, and they don't level it out. When you get a drug, you need to know the levels. And when you go to those places, they have to give you something. Sometimes they misdiagnose what they're giving them. I personally struggle with that for like about 30 years. My brother and my family, we take care of him, but we won't never deny him. So yes, I think that those issues need to be addressed. I think that the old Mercer campus is a great place for a facility for in and out patients for mental health. That'll be a great place. We need investors and the healthcare systems have changed drastically. But I advocate, and my heart goes out to mental health victims or patients.
Okay, and now your name is also on this flyer that came out from Trenton Forward. Are you a part of that?
If you read the fine print, they're about this little. It's a pack. It's a pack. A political action committee, and a political action committee can like pick anyone they want. They can pick the mailman if they want. That's how much money they have. And I'm fortunate. It could go both ways. I'm on there, but that tells you something, that I'm doing something right, and I want to be the next councilman. And I believe in democracy. Number one. I mean, politics is about persuasion, and but I believe that I've done the hard work, and my character and my integrity speaks for itself.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, well, I like that.
Anything, Mike?
Nothing. I just wish you the best. Good fortune to you on your campaign for City Council of the South Ward. I love your energy, and I know you'll do a great job. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you. I want to also say, that thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. I've done a lot of work in this community, and I'm willing to work hard. And I'm telling you, can't forget about Tuesday, November 8th, Damian Malave, Section G, choice number 1. Damian Gonzalez Malave, the only Latino that's running for South Ward City Council.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna let you out quite yet. Oh no, I got a little bit more for you.
Okay.
Now, when you get to City Hall, and during the past 4 years, there's been a lot of dissension on City Hall. Now, how do you respond? How will you respond to, let's say, the mayor presents something to City Hall that ain't right? Will you just go along with it, or what?
We have I have a team of council, and I believe that City Hall has their own council, and I'll make.
Uh-oh.
Check it out.
I'm so sorry.
There he is. Wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. Yep, we hear you.
Okay, so that we get our council right. We make sure that I get the right council. Number 1. Number 2, we have seen City Hall, and Tuesday can't come any faster. Those days of arguing and getting nothing done is going to be done with Trenton. I mean, we are going to look forward. We're going to get some things. I'm going to roll up my sleeves and be a team player. We have to do the right thing for our tax-paying residents. Democracy will come, and where people will vote for the right people.
And you're the right people.
I'm working hard for it. I'm knocking on doors and I'm talking to everyone.
What are you hearing when you're out there?
Listen, we ran out of lawn signs. They've been taking them, so I had to buy window signs. I tell them, put them in your window, and you drive by South Trenton. Everybody has my sign in their window. You know, I know their concerns. I speak their language.
What are their concerns?
Their concerns is safety. Safety is their number one concerns. Infrastructure is another one. You know, depleted roads. We need speed bumps. Like I said, the director should be approving those things. You know, safety, justice for all.
Okay. Are they talking about education?
Of course, they talk about education. They're worried about their kids getting on buses and being dropped off at a wrong location.
Did the school district take the kids out of South Trenton and bus them someplace else?
Yeah. It's throughout the whole city. Certain people that live in the South have to go to a different district to go to school. They have the school system is not like we used to be, and I'm willing to work with the school board on improving things, but we have to give them a chance. See, they're starting something new, so I'm for giving them a chance.
Where do you stand on the electric school board?
I believe in democracy. I mean, people have to vote their way. I vote no, but I vote that democracy. People have to choose.
Okay, so you're not in favor of an elected school board. Why not?
Well, I tell you the truth. I tell you, I seen both ways, because I believe that if you appoint someone, right, I think that they should come with it. They do. The school board does a lot of work, right? They should be commended. They should have at least a salary, because you have to give incentive to do that, right? So I believe that a lot of it is appointed. You know, you appoint your friend, appoint this person. The guy lives in Hopewell. I think that we should have someone that lives in Trenton, right? I think that we should pay them. You know, hopefully we get the funds, if we can find some to pay them, because they do come out of pocket, and they do a lot of good work. It's for the children of our future.
Okay. Now, you know, I think it's a state law that keeps them from being paid. I don't think any school board members are paid throughout the state. You know, but city council is paid. Now, while you're on council, would you advocate for a raise, or would you vote in favor of a raise while you're on city council?
I tell you the truth, I don't even know how much they make. I mean, I just want to be in city council, and I'll take whatever they give me at this point. But it's a tax-paying entity. I mean, we get paid for the taxpayer. I have nothing to do with that. But we have to service whatever they pay us. If it's $1, we have to represent that dollar for the taxpayer. We represent them. It's what they want. Whatever the taxpayer wants. Democracy has to be ruled.
Damian G. Malave, brother, it's been good. Appreciate it. Like my son says, we love your energy, and Godspeed down there in the South Ward. Okay.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay.
And like I said again,
November 8th, right?
November 8th, column G, number 1, Damian Malave. I want to thank all the residents and everybody involved. I want to thank everyone. We represent them. Remember, we are the people. The people.
All right, brother. Take care. Right. Thank you very much.
Best wishes, Damian.
Thank you. God bless.
All right.
Peace. Peace.
Whew. Michael Harmon. This has been a very interesting night. Yeah. As we're saying that the election is November 8th. So this will be the last show that we had before the election. You know, but I want to, the thing that I'm seeing in candidates that we've interviewed is that there's, like you say, there's an energy, not an energy and a dream, a want for innovation. People were talking about, this is 2022. We have to stop working with 1990 methods. Okay.
And not only does Damian have this great energy about him, but just him and Jasi together, they're both bringing new energy. You know, they're both bringing something new to Trenton that, you know, we haven't seen in a minute, and they're both exciting. And I'm looking forward to seeing them both.
And I think another thing is that, I mean, they don't like the contentiousness that has been going on with council for these past few years. But I don't think that they'll get there and then just roll over for somebody, which I don't want. I'd rather have the contention than I want somebody just roll over and not take care of us, you know, the citizens of Trenton. You know, just recently the mayor sent a flyer around. I don't know if you can see that. Probably backwards. Anyway, it says racism, homophobia, dysfunctional. You know, this is the first time I've ever heard the mayor talk about racism. You know, racism, white supremacy. And his first words is to call black women racist. And I'm saying, whoa, slow down there, brother.
Slow down. I'm about tired of stuff like that.
What?
I'm about tired of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I said, you know, they got to stop going at our black women like that way.
That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You know, the first time you talk about race issues and you're going to put the stigma of 400 years of white supremacy racism on our black women's back. Go to heck with that mess. You know,
turn around.
You know, so this flyer upset me because, you know, I believe that Reed Gutierrez was a better man than that. And just because we're into a political field now, political time, is no reason to, in my opinion, no reason at all to get nasty and ugly, especially with a black woman. All right? If you disagree with her, if you're angry with her, then disagree with her. But don't down her like that. Don't tell me that a black woman is racist, and you ain't never said anybody else in the whole history of the country has been racist. All right? So that's bullshit as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, we have to get out of here because we're a bit over time. But I like the energy that we saw tonight. I like Jasi, and she said she was Edwards from Princeton. You know, that's my hometown. That's my daddy's hometown. You know. That's right. Son, you take good care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. Who's our guest next week? We don't have a guest next week yet, right?
We're working on a guest next week, you know, but we're going to be here.
We'll definitely be here. You know, if there's nobody else but me and you. You know,
it's me and you.
Know? Well, hopefully we'll also get Carlos. Carlos is taking over being publisher of the Nubian News, the new Nubian News, and Spanish journal or whatever it is. I forget. I know what it is. Okay. All right. So, love you. Good night. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. Appreciate it.